An onsen is a traditional Japanese hot spring bath. While they provide therapeutic benefits, the rules and etiquette can make some tourists quite nervous. Today, we're diving into an easy step-by-step guide along with some tips to help you actually relax and enjoy yourself. I'm Jun from Japan Junkie, and today we're going through a 10-step guide to visiting an onsen. Number 10. Researching your onsen is the most important step when preparing for your visit. Each place has its own rules and customs, so if you already know what to expect, you'll avoid potential failure. Firstly, are the genders mixed? This is necessary to know for most people, but especially vital for certain cultures.
The young girl, Kuchi in there?
Second, you'll want to find out if wearing swimwear in the water is not allowed. Most hot springs require you to remove all your clothing entirely, but you can find places that will allow it if you don't feel comfortable. We'll talk more about that later. Thirdly, there are specific onsen that you might want to seek out or avoid. The different mineral compositions of the waters provide a range of health and beauty benefits. For example, if you want skin exfoliation, you should try an acidic bath, while people with sensitive skin may want more sulfuric waters. Some of the more surprising onsen include radioactive baths that contain a small amount of radium, or the electric baths where a current is flowing through the water that makes your muscles contract. Lastly, if you're researching a hot spring and you have tattoos, make sure that this is okay with the establishment. Sometimes they'll allow it if it's small enough to be covered with a bandage, but if you check first, you'll avoid the embarrassment of being turned away. Number 9. There is a small amount of preparation needed so that you avoid any side effects. You shouldn't drink or be intoxicated when you're soaking in the hot water. Your blood is already circulating quickly, and the added alcohol can increase your risk of changes in your blood pressure. This can cause dizziness and falls, but it can also lead to major health issues like strokes. You may be turned away if you arrive after drinking, so it should just be avoided altogether. You should wait 30 minutes after eating or exercising and make sure you're properly hydrated. Lots of places recommend drinking water before soaking, as you lose a lot of fluid as you perspire. If you're elderly, at risk of falls, or have health issues, you should avoid bathing alone. It's also best for these groups to keep out of very hot water. Temperatures under 42 degrees Celsius or 107 Fahrenheit are safer. If you start to feel like you need help, you should tell someone immediately. Number 8. Soaking in an onsen is relaxing, but there is one time when you should be paying attention, and that's when you arrive. Because you may be excited or nervous, there are 2 easy mistakes to make. First, no matter how distracted you are, make sure that when you walk around, you don't rush. The floor is often wet, and the minerals in the water can make the floor extra slippery. Second, pay close attention to the curtains. If you're a man, you go through the blue curtain, and women through the red. While most accidents are forgivable, this one should really be avoided. The onsen is usually divided into 3 areas for changing, showering, and bathing. You may have already removed your shoes by now, but make sure they're off before entering the changing area. Most places have lockers, in which case you'll also receive a key. In more rural or traditional areas, you're more likely to receive a basket where you can place all of your items. If you're worried about leaving your belongings, you should only bring the money that you need. If you're still concerned, you can always ask reception to take care of your items for you. The key that you receive for your locker is on a waterproof bracelet. This is the only acceptable thing that you can wear while bathing in a clothing-free bath. Number 7. The most common issue that foreigners have is the fact that you have to remove your clothes. There's no need to let this stop you from trying an onsen. These places have been operating for centuries. You're just one more person in the millions of people who've performed this natural activity. For many people from different cultures, it can feel as if you're on display. But if you think that people are staring at you, they aren't. Nobody cares about what you or anyone else is doing. Japan has one of the highest population densities. People have become accustomed to blocking out external distractions and just enjoying their own personal bubble. Being uncomfortable is more likely to make you stand out. If people do look at you or smile, it's probably as a form of encouragement if they think that you might be nervous. If it's still a problem for you, we have a few solutions. You could make a reservation at a place that allows swimwear. There are some that also allow people to reserve a bath for specific times, so you can have the place to yourself. Or for a totally private experience, you can book accommodation that has a private bath, so there is nothing stopping you. Number 6. Before you enter the water, you must wash yourself, and this doesn't mean just rinsing off. You should make an effort to be clean. There's an area with individual shower heads or buckets with soap and other products. While many people want to stand while showering, you must remain seated. This prevents you from splashing other people around you and making a mess. When you turn on the shower, make sure you're holding the nozzle to prevent creating an embarrassing sprinkler. People who often bathe in the mineral-rich waters may be scrubbing their skin vigorously. It's not necessary to clean yourself so harshly that you end up exfoliating your top layer of skin. When you soak yourself in hot water, your skin will naturally soften anyway, so if you've already scrubbed yourself, you could risk irritation. Using just your hands to wash yourself should be more than enough. If you have long hair, make sure after this point that it is completely tied up. Your hair shouldn't go in the water. You're almost ready to begin, but remember this is a public space. Return all the items you used to their original state. Number 5. The temperature of the water is something that people need to be aware of as it varies greatly. Before getting into any hot bath, you'll want to acclimatise. This will prevent shocking your body with the intense heat. The shower is usually a good place to begin getting used to the temperature, but you may also see people with buckets tipping hot onsen water onto themselves. Otherwise, you can just enter slowly. Many people rush when they're entering to try and preserve their modesty, but this can cause head spins and a kind of panic response. The water can be really hot. Just take your time and let your body adjust. While it may be custom to have a relaxing spa in Western cultures, an onsen isn't something you can do for hours. 2 to 3 minutes is enough for very hot temperatures, or 3 to 10 minutes if the water is just very warm. You can increase this as you get used to bathing, or you could take a jizoku-yu, which is a lower temperature so you can stay for hours. Beginners should start by bathing once or twice a day at most. Take breaks in between and don't push yourself past what is comfortable. Number 4. We're nearly in the water, but we still need to talk about what to do with your towel. You'll be given one large and one small. The larger one is for drying yourself afterwards and should stay in the changing room. The smaller one, often called a modesty towel, is to take with you into the bathing area. You can use it to cover yourself while entering and exiting. The rule is that it must stay out of the water. You may see people placing them on their heads. Not only is this a good place to keep it while you're bathing, but a towel soaked in cool water will help to reduce the blood pressure in your head. But if you're bathing outdoors in winter, you should soak it in hot water instead. Number 3. We've finally reached the best part, where you actually get into the water. At this point, all you should have is yourself, your small towel, your locker key, and a hair tie. You can finally relax. Although, there are still some rules. Even though they're similar to pools, onsens are not places to be swimming. Small, slow movements are acceptable, but avoid any kind of splashing. Don't put your head under at any time and make sure your hair stays completely out of the water. Some people may talk, but if you do, make sure you keep it quiet. It's not a public swimming pool and many people come to relax. If no one is talking, it's best to read the room and stay quiet. While it may seem obvious at this point, don't bring anything with you. Nothing should go in the bath except yourself. And yes, that means no photos, not even selfies. Number 2. Once you've soaked enough, it's time to exit. You may want to give a short nod of acknowledgement to anyone you've had an interaction with, or just leave quietly. Try not to cause a scene by splashing around or making waves. When you stand, try not to rush. At this time, you're more likely to be lightheaded after sitting in a hot onsen. Don't forget about walking slowly as you'll be wet and could easily slip. You don't have to go back to the shower area. You'll want to let the minerals sit on your skin for as long as possible. If you do have sensitive skin or the bath was acidic, you can rinse off with fresh water, not the same water that's in the onsen. You'll need to dry yourself enough to make sure that you're not dripping through the changing room. Then you can use your larger towel before getting dressed. If you're staying at a place that's provided a yukata, it's a good time to put this back on until your next bathing session. Number 1. You've successfully completed your onsen experience, but there's still just a few more steps to your post-onsen routine to make it even better. Once you're fully clothed, it's a great time to rest and hydrate. It's an important step as you've lost fluids after soaking in minerals for so long. You can either sip water over the next few hours, or you can try the traditional Japanese method of having a glass of cold milk. Your body has been slowly simmering, and the sensation of drinking cold liquid is unique and reminds many people of the onsen experience. It's thought that milk helps to replace any nutrients lost through sweat, and together with the protein will help your skin health. It might seem like there are a lot of rules, but mostly it's common sense. The fact that you've watched this video has already improved your chances of having a great experience. So from now on, you can fully relax and enjoy your time with confidence. Thank you for staying all the way to the end. You can leave a comment with any suggestions you have for future videos, and don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.